An embarrassment to the country is how the federal government describes the attack on former Deputy Senate President, Senator Ike Ekweremadu. And the Federal High Court in Abuja on Monday ordered the Independent National Electoral Commission to remove the name of Uche Wosu as a governorship candidate in the last election held in Imo State. This is Plus Politics, and I'm Felicity Ezewuike. So, in a show of shame for Nigeria, Nigerians attacked their own in Germany, Senator Ike Ekweremadu. He was pushed, slapped, and even his clothes were ripped on the instructions of the self-acclaimed IPOB leader, Nnamdi Kanu, who has offered 1 million naira reward for credible information on overseas trip itinerary, for instance, of Southeast governors. But before I bring in my guest, let us look at this video of members of the indigenous people of Biafra assaulting Senator Ike Ekweremadu, and then I'll bring my guest for them to share their thoughts.
Look at it, this man, stupid man, stupid man. Look at him. Look at him, he's a useless man. He's running, he's running, he's running, he's running. He's running. He must come out. He must come out. Go. He must go. We don't need you here. We don't need you. He must go. Their fans are telling him to go. He must go. He must leave here. He must leave here.
Certainly not a good sight. I have with me Tony Folorusho and Babashola Adegbuyi to discuss this story. Welcome, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Thank you for joining us. He is Tony and he is Babashola. All right. It doesn't look like something we are familiar with. It's not the behavior that Nigerians, are known for. Sure. What was your immediate reaction when you saw this video? Let me start with you.
Well, thank you very much. Firstly, I think it's a condemnable act because there are better ways we can express our angers. There are better ways at which we can handle every situation we have. And firstly, we need to understand one thing. There are three legs to this. First, incompetence of our leaders driven towards poverty driven towards anger.
Yeah, I guess we will come to some of the causes, but okay. I just wanted to get your reaction to Nigerians. That's one of the topmost politicians in this country, treated in such a manner. What is your own reaction?
Well, it's a national embarrassment. It's totally it's a national shame because Ekweremadu, as he is, he has been number 2 in the National Assembly, at least during the last tenure. Now, this is a man who has been in the Senate since 2003, and the only reason why the man is being attacked is just because he was part of the government that proscribed IPOB as a terrorist group. So this is a man that was there last year. They have another Yam Festival or annual meeting this year. He was invited, and they felt this is the only way they can show their own anger towards him, which for me it shouldn't have been done that way. There are better ways to go about this thing, not beating him mobbing him, tearing his clothes. No, it's not good for the nation.
Yeah, I actually wanted to get your reaction, and then I come back to you. You were trying to identify some of the reasons you think this situation occurred.
Like you said, like I said, I actually condemn that act. There are better ways at which you can express your anger. So we need to take a look at three core things. Like I see it as a chain to this problem. People are kind of pissed. There is a level of rage at which things are going on now in the country, from the incompetence of the leaders that we have, which actually driven by the poverty, and of course we know what poverty can cause. Poverty leads to anger. These are many more issues that we have that people sum up together, that they actually believe that, okay, this man should be a target. And we need to be mindful of one thing. These are very serious signals to all the politicians. As far as I'm concerned, I condemn the acts, but every politician should just understand one basic fact, that nothing lasts forever. Firstly, if Ekweremadu was to be in Nigeria, he wouldn't have actually experienced something like that. He might probably have been moving with nothing less than 20 or more security operatives comprising of army, police officers, and of course DSS, what have you. And of course, another leg to this is that when you go to the constituencies where all these people are representing, is either minute or nothing significant to show off year on year. The only time people get to see these guys around is probably during the electionary period. So when people see you as someone who only comes to us when you need us, it's a problem.
That's quite a debatable position, because Ekweremadu is not a new politician. He's one of the old breeds. He's been in the National Assembly for years. Some says almost close to 10 years, if not less than that. Okay, but let me ask you this. He is just one man. He does not represent the government in its entirety. Is he, in this instance, being used as a scapegoat to highlight some of the issues he mentioned, dissatisfaction with the status quo in the country?
Yes, unfortunately, he has been used as a scapegoat. But if I'm to look at the performance of the Ekweremadu, for me, it doesn't deserve, or let me say, it did not deserve what actually happened. What do I mean? He was once a secretary to the state government. He was once a chief of staff, and since 2003, he has been going to the National Assembly and becoming as a senator. Yeah. And I believe if the guy has not been performing his constituency project, he would not have come back on about I think this is the fourth time he's in the National Assembly. But that is for those who are with him. That is for those in his constituency. But now we are looking at the generality of the Southeast. They don't want to know. The Nigerian chairmans, they don't want to know if you have performed in your constituency. As long as you have been part of the government who has not made life easy for our people, then you deserve some canes. You deserve some punishment. That's number one. Number two, as long as you were part of the government that proscribed a group that was agitating for Biafra state nation as a terrorist group, then you deserve more than that. But they have forgotten that, yes, Ekweremadu could be part of the government, but he has a limited contribution to whatever decision that had been made by the last government. He was a deputy senate president. How many Southeasterners were part of the government, at least the top, when that decision was taken? How many voices actually spoke for Southeast? Yes, it was part of that, but the truth is...
Just riding on something you said earlier, you mentioned there should be consequences and punishment. And you both agree that this conduct is uncalled for, unwarranted, totally, even though it's an expression of something deeper, yeah? What should be the reaction of the German government? The Dabiri Erewa, that's the chairman of the Nigerians in diaspora, has come out to condemn, along with other prominent Nigerians, to condemn. And she went ahead to call on the German government and security agencies in that country to ensure that the perpetrators, who she says some have already been arrested, be made to, pay for the actions that they've taken part in. My question is, sounding long-winded, but my question is, do you actually see some repercussion for the people who participated in the attack on the former Senate member?
Well, number one, I don't know the relationship between the German government and the Nigerian government in that particular aspect. When I'm talking about relationship, I'm talking about the foreign affairs. Maybe there is an agreement between two of them that, okay, whenever someone offends another country, a Nigeria, offends Nigeria that is residing in Germany, that the Germany should take it up. But what I know is that if there is an agreement and the German government also is against the law of the German law to attack, because it's an assault, which I believe assault is not recognized in all laws, is a crime in most of the nations. So it's an assault. It could be used against them. But arresting those guys on the request of the government is what I doubt. That is, arresting those guys on the request of the Nigerian government is what I doubt. The German law also have their own law, which they are going to make use of against those guys that have been arrested, if any has been arrested at all.
Okay, let's go to the politics of it, because expectedly when something like this happened, both parties, both sides, both opposition, main ruling party, and every other sundry politician will want to ride on it to make some statement. Well, let's look at the two major parties, APC and PDP. The PDP has come out. They did not categorically, I read this statement, identify IPOB. They said, let me see the word, some Nigerians in Germany. That's what they're saying. Some Nigerians in Germany, they blamed the attack on them. And the APC has called them out. They're saying that it is clear that PDP and its other short-sighted co-travelers who were the main cheerleaders of IPOB owe this country an apology. Is this an overreach? Or do they indeed, considering the action of some of them, even though it might not be every IPOB member that supports this, but do they really owe the nation an apology? Let me come to you.
Oh, okay. First, I must say that statement is a political statement from People's Democratic Party, PDP. It's not some Nigerians. Of course, they are Nigerians, but we know who they are. They are IPOB. So, well, like he said, their country like Germany is a very same country. It's not just a country whereby you just assault because there is a violation of human rights. Forget about the fact that this guy has been in power, is a senator or whatever you. He's a human being. So there is a level of violation of human rights. So there might be consequences. And like he said, it's such a very national and international embarrassment. And this should just let us know that whenever we are not having a governance driving towards equality development, there will be a level of rage. And I still stand my point on that. There will be a level of rage.
Okay, the IPOB leader has reacted to this. First, he accused, you already mentioned that Ekweremadu was part of the people that worked to proscribe their group. He's unrepentant. Let's be clear about that. He's unrepentant because he's saying that he's offering 1 million naira for any tangible information that will lead to the travel itinerary of some of the Southeast governors. He didn't stop there. He went on to say President of the Ohaneze Ndibo, the current one, and the Chief of Army Staff, they will also want information on them. That's 1 million naira reward for whoever brings that kind of information. Is he being an opportunist with this event?
Of course, he's an opportunist. He's an IPOB leader. Either recognized or not, he's an IPOB leader. Yeah. Whatever that is being done by IPOB, under the umbrella of IPOB, let me use that word, under the umbrella of IPOB, he has that responsibility.
He's a proscribed member. He's on the run from the Nigerian government legal system. He is supposed to be out on bail. People that stand shorty for him are facing the anger of the courts. So should he be putting out such information, further aggravating his situation?
Number one, I blame the Nigerian government for that. This guy ran out of the country. Someone who was on bail left the country to another country, and up till now, nothing has been done to ensure the guy is brought back home.
Yes.
It is because the government has failed. That is why the guy has got to come out and make that statement. He's now trying, at least he meant to Showore before Showore came to Nigeria a week before the revolution now. Now, he's now going about, I think after we saw him in Israel, he went to the United States to continue with the agitation for Biafra.
Yes.
And in all these countries, a representative of government. The other time I said, it depends on the relationship Nigeria has with other countries that will determine the action to be taken by those countries. I don't know what Nigeria has done with international police, Interpol, to get this man arrested. This man is still there, and he's still telling people, we are coming to Nigeria. We will ensure that there is no peace in Nigeria. I still read it online this morning, that there is no peace in Nigeria. We are going to lead the revolution that will bring down the government. And why? Because the government has failed to get him arrested. That's number one. Number two, he's an opportunist. Why? He saw his people, his own members, attacking a representative of Nigerian government in another country. He now came out to say, wow, you guys have done well. You deserve a round of applause. So on that note, I want information about every southeastern governor traveling out of the country. And if you are able to give us such information, we are going to give you 1 million naira. What is he trying to say? He's trying to prevent the southeastern governors or the politicians from the southeast
from traveling
abroad. What's his name? The former governor of Abia State, Oju Zokalu, had to cancel his own medical trip because of what happened on Saturday. He had to cancel his own medical trip because of that. Because he's also scared of traveling because he doesn't know what will happen, what will become his own fate when he gets to Germany. So that's number three. And he will see a lot of people that will give him information. Because people, the Southeast are actually, the Southeasterners are, some of the Southeasterners are actually members of the IPOB. Even some of them are not coming up publicly, they are doing it privately, some are public. You get, so even you will see it where some people will have the flag everywhere, their passport or whatever, you get. So they will want to do everything to ensure that they support their leader. Yeah, our leader has given us 1 million, and we know what happened when he came around. He was not in support. When he came around before he absconded, during the so-called Biafra movement last year, this guy came down. The southeastern governors, you remember, they were not in support of him. Yes, publicly.
He actually said it in the speech that he gave on Sunday, that they all came together to prescribe.
Exactly. They were not in support of his action, but the people he was able to mobilize were so much that even the southeastern governors, even that guy contested for the president of Biafra, would have won.
Yes. All right, let's look at it from a former Niger Delta militant. I'm bringing the question to you now, Asari Okubo. I don't know if you've watched the video of his comments on. He's come out to say, describe Nnamdi Kanu, in his words, an ingrate and a Frankenstein monster. That's his word. And he says this man will consume the Igbo people if they don't, take care of the situation right now. What do you make of that statement? Isn't it further inflaming the society? And aside from that, aren't we arrogating so much power to one man?
Okay, I think Asari Okubo is talking from the point of view of strategy. Because I'm sure he said in that video that he was part of those meetings where they were looking for people that would actually do a kind of shorty for this guy. Well, a lot of power is being arrogated to one person, like he said in that video. The movement of Biafra is not Nnamdi Kanu that started it. we all know the historical sentiment of Biafra, what led to one thing or two or the other. So like he said in that video, the way at which they are going about it, they would further receive a kind of, let me say, a political blackmail from Nigeria government. Like I said, you declaring it openly that, okay, if you have information about any political leaders in Southeast, please feel free to release this information, and there is a reward for that. And let us just remember that the government prescribed this movement based on one reason: terrorism. And terrorism is something that, even in global space, is not something that every country of the world they're actually joking with. So like he said, aside Okubo seemed as a traitor, and then he felt like there is a proper way of handling this problem than the way they are handling it now. And that for me is like from the point of strategy. You get, and the kind of revolution we have is not until probably when we kill leaders. That's when we can engage in revolution, or we begin to burn houses. That common sense revolution. What those guys did, there are better ways, like I said. You can get people to carry placards. Probably when he's about to give his speech, then you people start saying, no, we don't want
I think there was a similar situation, but a peaceful one, when Okorocha was in one of these countries. Somebody came up with a placard, one single man, saying that he needed to change.
So it's as simple as that. Organize yourself. Be civil enough to make sure that you actually showcasing what we call a 21st century citizen, whereby you of course you are hungry. All of us we are hungry, but there are ways at which we can handle this problem. So, in short, the IPOB, they need to just think, come up with a brilliant strategy as to how they can handle all these things. This is looking like a threat to life.
Yeah, let's flip this conversation on its head and look at the part where you said something earlier about the former governor of Abia State stopping his trip, a medical trip abroad. Now, if there is this, this kind of fear to go abroad to, treat themselves, we have hospitals here, capable hospitals, and even our president is one of those that go abroad for medical treatment. So let's look at it on a lighter note and say that, won't this compel them to make use of facilities here in this country, or find a way to revamp it and upscale it to meet the standards that they're going to seek in foreign countries?
To an extent, I will say yes. But these people, they can go as far as bringing in foreign doctors, bringing in foreign medical instruments, medical facilities into their own house for them and them alone. It's possible. They can do it. Now, about it, the reason why I said to an extent, because sometimes you will need an emergency. You will need a medical doctor, a Nigerian medical doctor to attend to you. You have to put some things in place. But I can tell you, those places, because I'm looking at the mentalities of our leaders now. I'm not looking at everyone. They can go as far as making just an aspect of a medical of an hospital, of a hospital
comfortable for them.
Comfortable for them.
That doesn't speak well. If you have that, do you have similar perception about Nigerian leaders?
Well,
not to interrupt you, but we need to wrap up this segment.
I do have, because I could recall even one governor who is now a minister now. At one point in his state, he built a self-acclaimed best hospital in Nigeria.
For himself alone? For
the state.
Okay.
For the state. And when this guy actually slumped or something happened to him, they flew him over. So what happened to the hospital you built? I'm talking about.
It's quite unfortunate. We're making fun of it, but it's a very serious issue. We need to revamp our health sector among every other sector in this country. Thank you, gentlemen, so far for your contributions.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a short break now, and when we return, we'll be discussing Rochas Okorocha's son-in-law, Uche Wosu. Just stay with us.